Okay, so you've probably seen me do something like this at some point in this year. I think this is the first time this semester, though. So what I want to do is I want to figure out what a square root function graph looks like and how the numbers where the a is, the h is, and the k is in this equation affect the graph. So my starting values, the h and the k are 0 and the a is 1. And I'm just going to make this a little bigger so everybody can see it a little better. Okay. And here is my a. There's a little times symbol there, times x minus h in the square root, and then outside of the square root plus k. So it's important which ones are in and which ones are outside of the square root. I see that right away. Let's see what happens if we change a. If we make a bigger, then the graph gets stretched out. If we make a small number between 0 and 1, then that graph is shrunk down. Remember that it originally looked like this at 1, and so if we make it between 0 and 1, it gets shrunk down vertically. If a is negative, it does all the same patterns except it's flipped across the x-axis. So there's this invisible line y equals 0. Let's make it dotted. This purple dotted line is like a reflection axis, and so if a is negative, then the graph is reflected across the x-axis. If it's positive, it's not. So something like that. Okay. Let's go back to 1. And then I want to look at h. H is a translation. So h takes the graph and moves it to the left or to the right. What I notice is that if I make h a big number like 10 or 8, let's do 8, this graph moved right. Okay, and so if it's right, then that means that even though h is, it says minus h here, what we're really doing is we're subtracting 8 because that's what h is right here. So if we're subtracting 8, then it should say x minus 8 here, even though that's a translation right. I hope my webcam is facing the right way, but it should be to the right. Okay, cool. If h is negative, that is like this, then we have a translation left this time. So we're going to the left this time. Okay, let's go back to 0. And now let's look at k. If we do k, then this is a vertical translation. So if we make k 5, it's a translation up 5 units. And if it's negative 5, then it's a translation down 5 units. If it says negative 5 for k, it will probably say minus 5 right here instead of plus k. So that's just something to look out for. This is the square root function. We could possibly look at cube root functions or fourth root functions or fifth root functions, something like that. But I think that'll be for the next video.